Okay, I'll call this meeting of the Westland City Council to order. We begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Tasha Green.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, attendance roll call.
As I call roll, I ask you to identify the county, municipality, and state in which you are seated for this remote meeting. Councilman Godbout.
Present from Westland, Wayne County, Michigan.
Thank you. Councilwoman Green.
Present, attending remotely in Wayne County, Westland, Michigan.
Thank you. Councilman Hersberg.
Here, attending from Westland, Michigan, Wayne County.
Pro Tem Londo.
Good evening. Attending this meeting virtually in Wayne County and Westland, Michigan.
Thank you. Councilman McDermott.
Good evening, present, attending this meeting virtually, Wayne County, Westland, Michigan.
Councilwoman Rakowski. Thank you. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Good evening, present, attending this meeting virtually, Wayne County, Westland, Michigan.
Thank you. President Hart.
Good evening, present, attending from Wayne County, Westland, state of Michigan.
Thank you. A quorum is present.
We will move on to questions or input on the agenda from the public. This section will allow a person to be recognized only at the beginning of the meeting to address the council pertaining to items that are specifically on the business agenda at the meeting. Questions asked will be answered during the agenda item following a motion and support from the council. Questions asked may be responded to during the agenda item following a motion and support from council. At this time, we'll go ahead and look to the public to see if there are any hands raised. Stand by. I have Mr. Asper. Mr. Asper's hand is raised.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
We can. Begin.
Hi. All right. So I am calling regarding the Westland Humane Society. I wanted for everyone to know, Westland owns the shelter license. MHS is the agent for the shelter and does the work. Now, MHS also owns the property, that huge property on Newburgh. So I'm curious, does Westland pay a lease and how much? The reason I'm asking this, on January 16th, 2004, the Michigan Humane Society mortgaged the property for $5.5 million with Comerica. Now, for people who don't do real estate, how a mortgage payment is calculated approximately, every $10,000 in financed amount equals $60 a month in payment. So this equates to $33,000 a month of a mortgage payment for a 30-year. So I highly doubting the 8,600. It's much more than that. Don't let the council members and everyone else fool you. Now, the city of Wayne Animal Shelter sends all the animals not returned to the owner to Westlands. So this means Westland does pay for Wayne's as well. Each animal, now this is all above the basic care. The $8,700 figure is just for basic care, like feeding them twice a day and so on. Now this is on top of that. The Westland Humane Society charges Westland $300 to $400 for a rabies test. $50 to $100 is approximately the price to spay or neuter, because MHS spays and neuters all their animals. Up to however much for surgery, who knows on that one. Vaccinations generally cost around $100 up to, euthanizations up to $300. So on the contract, none of these amounts are given of what the costs are going to be. So MHS has a blank check for the city of Westland to charge as much as they want. Now, I was looking at the annual reports. Westland had 5,574 intakes and 1,412 euthanizations in 2019. That's over 25%. While Huron Valley, which is the gold standard in my opinion, 6,358 intakes, 446 euthanizations, that's less than 7%. Now, the woman from MHS stated what she said. So are we to believe that animals in Westland or animals in Ann Arbor are just happier than the animals in Westland? That's about 3.5 times. So to say that room is not an issue, I'm doubting that. Now, on the MHS website, it is sponsored by Tito's Vodka. It's advertising Tito's Vodka on their website, which means Westland is indirectly endorsing and advertising Tito's Vodka as well. I mean, it just baffles me that none of this has come out. Like, no one looked at the contract last time. I had to send it out to everybody.
All right, Mr. Ashburn, thank you. Your time is up. Next, we have phone number ending in 017.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can. Proceed.
Richard Graham from Westland and also with Move Westland Forward. A couple items today under the consent calendar A and the city's newspaper. It looks like there is, I'll call it a new newspaper that will be voted on for approval, possible approval, which is the Telegram newspaper. I did a little research on it, actually subscribed, took out a 3-month subscription to see what they're about. It'll be interesting, obviously, to see, if they, about their reporting and, if they, and in an election year in 2021, and, if they become just a, kind of a, I'll call it a political mouthpiece for Team Wild. But I did sign up for home delivery. It'll be interesting to get it and hopefully they get approved. Regarding item B and the animal and the humane shelter, again, I'll just echo a couple points. One, it was a shame that council allowed, citizens not to attend the first 8 minutes of the study session that just happened. Whether it was an error or not, citizens were denied the right to attend for about a third of the meeting. So, that does break the Open Meetings Act. But a poorly written contract was brought to council last meeting by Mayor Wild. The Team Wild members in attendance, Ratowski, Godbout, and Landau rubber stamped it. It was good to see that there was pushback, and the contract looks like it's going to get cleaned up a little bit. Some questions were answered, and not just a rubber stamp to a contract put in at the very last minute. That is all. Thank you.
All right, next we have Denise Sedman. Denise, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Before the council votes on the Michigan Humane Society contract, I am curious, and I think that maybe more information is needed to determine why Westland is paying more than other areas, as the woman from the Humane Society suggested. So it would be interesting. Do we have more stray animals here? What is it that causes us to be different than the other cities? Because I know like Canton and Livonia, they contract with the Westland Humane Society as well as Westland does. So it's just a cost accounting that I would be looking at, and maybe a cost per animal. So that's it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions on the agenda from the public? Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'll move back. Is there a motion on a consent calendar?
So move, Londo.
I have a motion from Councilman Londo. Is there support?
Support.
Support from Councilman Godbout. Is there any discussion? I see a hand raised. Councilman Hersberg.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to move items B and C to new business, please.
Okay, I have a motion to move items B and C to new business. Is there support?
Support.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Green. Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. Thank you. Can barely hear. Supported from Councilman Green. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing none, motion carries. Now we move back to the original consent calendar. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries.
We have to do roll call, Council President,
Oh, thank you very much.
both times. Just so
Yep,
you know.
I apologize. Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Approval of bid for official city newspaper. Administration recommending a one-year contract to the low bidder, Telegram newspaper, in the amount of $5 per column inch. Items B and C will be under new business. Next item approved, adoption of land division and combination resolution, 4 parcels, south side of Ann Arbor Trail between Inkster and Middlebelt Roads. This was Planning Department number 2130B. The land division was approved by City Council on October 19, 2020. Last item approved on the consent calendar was the adoption of a land resolution 35701 Central City Parkway, north of Warren, between Nankin Boulevard and Central City Parkway. This was Planning Department number 2232, and the land division was approved by City Council on March 16, 2020. Moving to new business. Item 1, approval of minutes of regular meeting held December 21, 2020.
So moved, Rutkowski.
support McDermott,
Motion by Councilman Rakowski, supported by Councilman McDermott. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
yes,
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Abstain due to absence.
Motion passes. We will go now to item 1A. Give me just a second here, please. 1A is approval of annual animal sheltering agreement with the Michigan Humane Society. Term of the contract shall be for a 1-year period commencing immediately and expiring on December 31, 2021 in the amount of $8,691.67 per month.
So moved, Rutkowski.
Motion by Councilman Rakowski, supported by Councilman Londo. Is there any discussion from the maker?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Pursuant to our study session and subsequent research that is taking place, I'll give credit to Mr. Hersberg, Councilman Hersberg, for bringing it up in the study session, but I think a few of us also recognized that the language is quite sloppy in one of the areas where it's talking about, excuse me, let me pull up the actual contract. The flat rate and the language is for each animal, and I move that we amend the contract to state all animals in care.
Support.
Mr. Clerk, can you just restate that amendment so everybody's has some clarity on that?
I'm actually going to ask the councilwoman to restate it, and I'll
Very
say
good.
it back before
Very good.
roll call.
So if I can jump in, I think the councilwoman, if I can give some guidance, it's an amendment that's 4.02A on fees.
Mhm.
That the first sentence in 4.02A, which outlines the monthly fee set, which currently says for each animal from within the city's jurisdiction, it should read, and post amendment is for all animals from within the city's jurisdictional limits.
Councilman, are you happy with that amendment?
I am pleased with that. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it.
Councilman Londo, the supporter, you're all
support
right with that? Okay,
Yep.
very good. Councilman Rakowski, any other discussion on your motion, or is that it?
I'd just like to thank the Humane Society for making themselves available for this, the study session that we had previously, and clarifying some information as far as why our contract is much higher than the other surrounding cities, as well as their euthanasia policy.
All right, so be reminded, we have a discussion on the floor or a motion on the floor to go ahead and change That small edit on section 4.02 is lined out by Attorney Fasson, supported by the clerk. Do we have any discussion on that? Mr. Smith, you have your hand raised. Do you have discussion on that item?
Not on that item. I was going to answer Mr. Asper's, some of his questions.
Very good. We'll get right back to that and we'll answer those. Thank you, Steve. Just remind me. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Any other discussion? Roll call.
So as I have it, amendment by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Pro Tem Londo, to amend section 4.2A, the first sentence to read, all animals within the city's jurisdictional limits. That would be the amendment. Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes, but Mr.
Pro Tem
Clerk,
Londo.
it should read 4.02. Sorry about that. 4.2 is a different section.
4.2A, wasn't it?
4.02A.
Thank you. So I'm now down to Councilman McDermott,
yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
You missed me, clerk, but I say yes.
Thought I heard you weigh in. Thank you. Councilman Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
yes. All right, the amendment passes unanimously.
Well, we're having a little bumpy start off to 2021, huh? That's all right. We're shaking some
Indeed.
dust off. All right, so we'll move back to the original motion now. So that was moved by Councilman Murkowski, supported by Councilman Councilman Londo for the MHS contract. Mr. Smith, you have your hand raised. We had some questions.
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, regarding Mr. Asper's comments and questions. For one, Westland does not pay any type of lease payment to the Michigan Humane Society. The only thing we pay the Michigan Humane Society is the contracted amount that's in front of council tonight. So just to make that clear. Also, that contract, just so council's aware, is offset by animal license fees that we collect through the clerk's office, actually. I think that budget's around 20,000 a year that we budget for those. And there are some credits each month that the Humane Society gives. And also in the contract, there could be some additional charges. But I went back over the last 10 years of the Humane Society payments. On average, we pay them about $97,000 a year, just so council's aware of what we actually are paying them.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Is there any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. I had a quick question to follow up on one of the questions that was posed by a gentleman during our study session when the Humane Society was present. After citizens' comments, the Humane Society was not prompted to answer any of the questions raised by residents during that meeting. And I think if it had been, there would be actually less questions taking place at our current meeting. So one of the questions or statements that was made during the study session that I would like clarity on is a gentleman stated that there's some sort of agreement that Wayne brings their pets to the city of Westland to be euthanized. I wanted someone to confirm. I was hoping the Humane Society would be here since she didn't answer any of well, she was not directed to answer or address the residents. I want a clarification on if that is a true statement. And if Wayne does bring their animals to the city of Westland to be euthanized, is that being done at the expense of Westland taxpayers? And as one of the residents who opened during our meeting with questions, I believe it was Denise Sedman, another question during the study session that was raised and basically ignored by a resident was the lady from the Humane Society stated that Westland has the highest monthly flat rate than any of our neighboring or comparable cities that also contract with the Humane Society. And so my question, again, that should have been answered during the study session when a resident posed it, is why is that? If cities are larger than us and we're paying the highest fee in this area, I'd like to know what's factored into the rate that we're paying. So if anyone is here to answer that question, I would love to be able to make a confident vote with the information that is still yet outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have Megan? Let's see here. Megan, stand by. Megan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear
Can
me?
Yep, we sure can. Can you address the Councilwoman's questions?
Yes. So for the first question, the Michigan Humane has a separate contract with the city of Wayne that they bring they don't have an adoption center, so they bring their animals after their stray hold is done, but that's a separate contract. So the city of Westland does not pay for the city of Wayne's animals. The second part of the question, the city of Westland is the largest contract that we have. And that is in relation to the amount of animals that are brought in by the city of Westland and the residents. That is double to triple the amount of some of the other cities that we contract with. So the flat rates are directly related to the amount of animals that come in.
Okay, do you guys also contract with the city of Detroit?
We do not.
Okay, so is it just, I know a couple people during the study session mentioned Canton, Livonia. Are there any other comparable cities that you contract with in this area? I'd like to research the difference in their fees than ours. And of course, I think you guys do a great job, but I don't see a whole lot of stray animals roaming the streets in Westland, but every circumstance is different. And I know that strays is not the only resource or service that you offer. I just like to research why the city of Westland, that is actually smaller than two cities that have been named, what they're paying as compared to our rate.
The Michigan Humane contracts with 8 cities in the area. So
is it on your website?
It might. So it's Westland, Livonia, Redford, Canton, Dearborn Heights, Hamtramck. I'm sorry, I have my whole list. But those are several of them. I would be happy to send over the cities that we contract with.
Okay, that would be perfect. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Can you send it to City Council via email?
I could direct it to, I believe I've been emailing with Devin and he could pass it along, or would that work?
No, City Council is a different entity than the mayor's administration. And so I can actually give you my email if you'd like to jot that down. We do not, we're a separate entity from the mayor's administration.
Absolutely. I'm ready wherever you are.
Sure, it's T as in Tasha, green spelled just like the color green, GREEN at cityofwestland.com.
Okay.
Did you get that, Megan?
I did. Yes, thank you. I'll send that over.
Okay, awesome. And if the other council members are not on that email, I will forward it to you all. Thank you for your information, Megan.
All set, Councilwoman?
Yes, thank you.
All right, Megan, you can also send it to clerk@cityofwestland.com too, and the clerk can distribute it to us council members as well. So you can
Thank you.
send it to the councilwoman and to clerk@cityofwestland as well. I think we'll be good with that. Is there any other discussion? We are Councilwoman Rakowski. These yellow hands are really throwing me off. So you guys know they're really hard to say. So Councilwoman Rakowski.
Thank you, President Hart. So I did do research on the cost of our contract versus 4 other communities. I saw that Livonia has a contract that's $4,581 a month, and they approved a 25-month contract with the Michigan Humane Society Behrman Center. Canton has a contract that's $2,795 a month plus $1,460 in ancillary costs. Dearborn Heights, again, is at $4,581 a month, and Redford is also at $4,581 a month. I found that information by going to their subsequent city websites and searching it. I raised this question to the administration, and that's why the council got an email from Steve Smith forwarding the Humane Society's explanation as to why ours are so much more. I would agree that we didn't get an animal total in respect to what the other communities are seeing. The other thing that I found interesting is that Dearborn Heights, as part of their vouchers, gets an itemized list of the animals that are in their care and their disposition status. So whether they were euthanized or reclaimed by the citizen or put back into the habitat. And it also shows the charges that are claimed either through their clerk's office or the Humane Society, and the amount of money that's then taken off of their monthly charges. And that's something that I personally would like to see, because then we'd have a better idea of how we're being affected on a monthly basis, as well as how many animals we're, housing from the city of Westland. So I would like to see that report come through on a monthly basis, if that's possible.
Council President Pro Tem Londo, do you have your hand up? Did it go up and go away?
Yeah, just briefly. Appreciate the discussion from our colleagues. Appreciate the research that Councilman Rakowski brought up. I was able to take a look at a lot of that as well. And the reason we're amending the motion, obviously, or amending the contract, is due to the the language that's in the contract. It sounded like we paid the $8,000 figure per animal. We went back and looked at the voucher reports, and in fact showed that we were only being charged the $8,000. I don't have the exact dollar amount in front of me, but just by going back and looking at our voucher reports shows that the city of Westland's only been paying that amount. And then the documentation that Steve Smith sent earlier as well showed the history of our charges. But thank you very much for the Humane Society for coming on for answering all the questions.
Is there any other discussion? Councilman Hertzberg.
Thank you. I just wanted to state for the record that I won't be in support of this item. I don't feel that I got a sufficient answer regarding some of the euthanization policies. There is some language that's laid out, and I will say that's an improvement. But I just don't see the policy listed in the contract. That's what I wanted to see. It does seem, from the numbers I've looked at from other facilities, it's clear that we are euthanizing a higher percentage, not because we have more animals, but a higher percentage of the animals that come in, we are euthanizing here. So I'd like, we all want to improve it here. I think we all support the Humane Society, and we're all just looking for ways to improve it and taking a deeper dive into this contract than we've done in the past. But based on that, I can't be in support. But I will add that I will second Councilwoman Rutkowski's suggestion of seeing that in the vouchers. That might help us come to a better understanding in the future and make better decisions. So just to state that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there any other discussion? Councilwoman Green.
Yes, I'd like to clarify, Councilman Hertzberg, were you making a motion for that change? Because if not, I'll make one. As you are aware, if we don't have it in writing, it will not happen. So are you making a motion? And if so, I will add support to that.
No, I didn't make a motion. I feel that we've passed this one back and forth enough. If you want to make a motion, I'll support it, but
Well, I will make a motion for the reporting to be added to our, for city council to receive the reporting on a monthly basis as noted by Councilwoman Rakowski from the Michigan Humane Society, the in-depth report.
support.
We have a motion by Councilman Green, support by Councilman Hertzberg to add voucher-like reporting for monthly MHS activities. Is there any discussion? Councilman Londo.
Thanks. So to the councilwoman, you're asking for a monthly report. Our vouchers are twice a month. Did you want it on every voucher report or just like a monthly report? Just so I know how I'm voting.
The report that I was speaking to was the report that Councilwoman Rakowski alluded to other municipalities having or being given on a monthly basis that provides a lot of questions to the unanswered questions that we are discussing tonight. I'd like to see consistency. So whatever the frequency is, it sounds as though it's a monthly report. So whatever the frequency is, bi-weekly or monthly, I'd like city council to receive it. And I guess MHS can clarify the frequency in which they send that type of reporting out.
Okay, so I just want to hop in here. So it sounds like Councilman Rakowski, it was monthly. Are you confirming that? Just so I have clarity on this motion.
From what I can discern from the voucher report that I have from Dearborn Heights, looks as though their May 2nd report was for all of month of April. So I would say monthly would be sufficient.
Okay, so Councilman Green, monthly, is that acceptable to you?
That is acceptable. Thank you.
And Councilman Hertzberg, monthly, is that acceptable?
Yeah, you already got it. Because we're being billed monthly, I think it's appropriate to do a monthly report.
Just want to make sure we have some clarity around this. It's unique, so I just want to try and shore up our moving parts here. Is there any other discussion on this motion? Councilman, you got your hand, Councilman Green, you have your hand up. Do you have discussion or is it just still up?
Yeah, I think it was just still on.
Okay, very good. Is there any other discussion on this motion? Okay, just a reminder, this is to add the reporting that we just discussed. So roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
That amendment passes unanimously.
Okay, we move to the original motion for the MHS contract. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
As amended, Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
No.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
no,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving to item 1B, which was C on the consent calendar. Adoption of ordinance 248A-101, an ordinance to amend the Westland City Code by amending sections 110-1 to establish a temporary moratorium on processing requests for land use approvals, permits, or licenses in commercial or industrial areas of the city to establish a caregiver grow and cultivation operation under the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. This item was introduced and approved with amendments on December 21, 2020.
So moved, Councilman Godbout.
I have a motion from Councilman Godbout. Is there support?
support McDermott.
Support from Councilman McDermott. Mo, do you have anything else to add? I know this was introduced and approved at the last meeting, so this is the adoption with amendments. So is there anything you need to add?
Just to let you know, there is a highlighted few words on page 2. That is the modification that was made based off of council's motion. That language also reflects the cover page as well, so both are consistent. There was a lot of back and forth about the timeline for this, but no direction from council, so we kept it at 12 months. At the time you adopt a new ordinance to regulate caregivers, we can at the same time rescind this moratorium. That's all I got. Thanks, Council President.
Thank you, Mo. Is there any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter? Councilman McDermott, any discussion? All right, any discussion from the
I was
council?
muted, sorry, no.
Any discussion from the council? Councilman Hersberg.
Thank you. Yeah, just to reiterate, I did not vote for this last meeting, and I'm just going to stay consistent with that. However, I am looking forward to a study session on this and several further discussions on this topic, which I'll try to address in my closing comments. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion from the council? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
No.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item 2, approval of minutes of closed study session held December 21, 2020.
So move, Londo.
support McDermott.
Got a motion by Councilman Longido, supported by Councilman McDermott. Is there any discussion?
No discussion for me.
No discussion, thank you.
No other discussion from council? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Abstain due to absence.
Motion passes. New business item 3, confirmation of reappointment of Roderick Curry to the Westland Board of Review for a 3-year term, with term to expire February 5, 2024.
So moved, Councilman Godbout.
Support, Londo.
Got a motion by Councilman Godbout, supported by Councilman Londo. Is there any discussion? Discussion. Mayor, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Thank you, Council President. Council, thank you for your consideration of Roderick Curry for his reappointment to the Westland Board of Review for a new 3-year term. Rod's been a member of our community for a long time. You guys approved his appointment back in 2018. He's been doing a great job on our board. And there was a time when he was actually one of our longest serving commissioners. He served for 23 years as the chair of the Westland LDFA. So he's done a great job, and we look forward to your consideration tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other discussion from council? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
yes,
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. New business, item 4, approval of revised site plan for proposed silo at Plastipac 351 North Hicks, west side of Hicks, south of Ford. Planning Department number 1100, revision 2. Administration recommends approval contingent upon departmental requirements and recommendations and the height variance being approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So moved, Councilman Hersberg.
The motion by Councilman Hersberg,
Support Rutkowski.
support by Councilman Rakowski. Mo, do you be able to share some information with us? Mo, if you're talking, you're on mute.
All right, sorry about that.
There you
go. City Council. So this is a request from Plastipac. They are actually at 1351 North Hicks. There's a typo in the agenda item. This is just south of Ford Road between the railroad on your left-hand side and North Dixon on the west side. There's a residential neighborhood across the street. It's about almost a 200,000 square foot facility. They manufacture plastic bottles. And in these silos over here, you can kind of see the white circular tops. They hold plastic resin in there. They store them. They're like small plastic pellets. And they use that material in the bottle manufacturing process. So they are in need of an additional silo. They're closing a facility in the Chicago area, and they are going to relocate one of their silos from there to here. I'll show you where it's going to be located and what it looks like in a second. This is going to be the tallest silo at the facility, so it is going to require a height variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals. The maximum in the zoning district is 35, and this is just over 64 feet tall. There's no issues. It's a small silo considering the size of the parcel, so there's no site plan issues here. They are improving the site in terms of landscaping to screen it from the residential. But I just wanted to share some additional information on the location. You can kind of see it here, just off the railroad spur. So providing easy access for offloading and onloading. Here's the other silos that are existing. This is the building that you saw on the aerial. That's what it's going to look like in relation to the one next door. And that's a picture of it, side view. And here's another elevation drawing. This is what the one next to it will look like. So this one right here. And that's all I got on this one. Steve from Plastipack has been the person I've been working with. I have not seen him on the call, unfortunately, but I'm happy to answer any questions on his behalf. I try to learn as much as I can about their operation. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, do we have any discussion from the maker?
No discussion at this time. Thank you.
Any discussion from the supporter?
No, thank you.
All right, any other discussion from the council? Looks like Councilman McDermott's hand is raised.
I apologize if I missed this. Through the chair to the planning director, what specifically is going to be stored in this third silo?
I wish I could. So you can Google a picture, but it's called plastic resin. It's like little small, really small pellets of plastic, and they use them in the plastic bottle manufacturing process, which this facility does. So it's like hundreds and thousands of small little plastic beads.
And then one more question through the chair to the planning director. Thank you for that. We don't anticipate any additional environmental impact as a result of this third silo going up.
I don't foresee any environmental concerns. The site is already built out. There's no environmental concerns with the site as it exists today. It is near a railroad spur that is strictly and specifically for this facility. So there are no environmental concerns that stood out from engineering. So when I receive a site plan, I disperse it out to all departments. If some of you, I might not have ever told this, but I disperse it out to fire, police, engineering, economic development, assessing, a couple other departments, and I combine all their comments, and if there are some outstanding ones, we'll try to fix them before it goes to planning commission and city council. There was nothing from engineering that stood out from an environmental concern. So no, to answer your question, I have no environmental concerns, neither does anyone from the administration.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the council? Councilman Hertzberg.
Yeah, just to tee off of Councilman McDermott's comments, I would say that there is concern if they're spilled. Those little beads would be I'm familiar with them. They'd be very hard to pick up if they were spilled, but I don't think there's been an issue there before. And I think they're very careful about how they're loaded in and taken out of the silos for use in the facility. So until, there's concerns with the facility, I don't have any at this point. So.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
No.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item 5. Adoption of prepared resolution authorizing the disposition of parcel 28943 McDonald acquired under the CDBG program to the adjacent property owner. Property Disposition Committee recommends the sale of this city-owned property to the adjacent homeowner for the sum of $3,000.
There a motion?
So moved, Rutkowski.
Support, Hersberg.
Motion by Councilman Rakowski, supported by Councilman Hertzberg. Mo, have any other information to provide, please?
Give you some quick info on this. Thank you, Council President. So we received actually Joanne from Housing received a request from the adjacent property owner on the west side to purchase this vacant city property. It's outlined in yellow. You see a house on there. That house wasn't very poor condition. The city purchased it and demolished it. There was some money that went into the acquisition that was less than what the offer price is of $3,000. It's about a 40-foot wide lot and about 5,000 square feet. It's a non-conforming, non-buildable lot. So the person interested, Mr. Northington, will be required to assemble it with this parcel to create one large parcel similar to this one over here. Again, the purchase price or offer price rather is $3,000. That will go back into the CDBG fund. And the Property Disposition Committee met on December 8th to review this proposal or offer and is recommending approval to you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mo. Is there any discussion?
None.
Okay, any other discussion from the council? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. New business, item 6, approval of voucher.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman McDermott,
Support. Londo.
support by Councilman Londo. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg,
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo,
Yes.
Councilman McDermott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Now move into comments from the public. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly conduct of the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public will not be tolerated. The clock will start upon the first words of the speaker and will not stop while the speaker is recognized from the floor. It is the speaker's option to ask questions at this time, and if the person questioned may choose to respond during the speaker's allotment of time. The clock will not be stopped once it is started. The clock will continue to run until the speaker is completed or their speaking time is exhausted, whichever is first. Do we have anyone from the public? I have a first hand up from Mr. William Asper.
Hello, hi, good evening again. So I have a couple issues which I said last time at the meeting. I am a property owner on Emerson in the Norwayne district. There is a property next to mine that Liberator now owns. It was given to Liberator by the city. This property was split by Westland. Usually it costs about $500 to do the survey and split. And it was given to Liberator for free. Now, Liberator was also given $131,000 to build this new property. But I brought up last time that Liberator was given a property by the city of Westland on Bannister in Norwayne. that was given to them for free. Westland purchased it for, I think it was $3,000 from the county. Liberator turned around and sold us for somewhere north of $80,000. I think that was 2 years ago, 2.5 years, 1.5. Where did the money go? Why are we giving them more money on top of it? Why is no one auditing them? Back to Liberator Group. So they are building a house right now on the property. They're driving on my property. They're damaging the yard. This happened the first time when the other group was building the first home. The woman in charge said I'd be made whole, whether if it was fixing the yards, money, whatever it was. Now, what this does, the Norwayne district unfortunately has a rat problem. This causes rats to go into the crawl spaces and the nearby properties, which is happening. What Liberator Group is also doing is the soil and sand that they're digging up. They're, it's getting all over the road. They're putting it in this lot across the street as well as next to mine. But what this does is that sand in the soil go into the sewer drains. They clog them up. Nothing is being done to prevent this. It's a big concern for me. Now, this is real quick to the FOIA coordinator. Let him know that I did FOIA regarding all monies from Westland to Michigan Humane Society for 2018, 19, and 20. I FOIA this, I believe, is on the 22nd or 23rd of December. So hopefully I will get that soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Miss Gina Wilson Stewart.
Good evening, Westland City Council. And I just wanted to say from the Telegram newspaper, we appreciate your vote of confidence for us for being the official newspaper for year 2021. And I just want to say thank you. And we will move forward in making sure we do a great job.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Stewart. Next, we have, it looks like Blake Perry.
Good evening, Council. How are you guys doing today? Happy New Year's. I want to come here. A lot of people know me or may not know me as a policy advocate, but I do feel people who receive services that get Medicaid dollars and who are getting services in Westland, the ordinance is not being respected by them or those that they do services with. So I feel that this issue directly with the ordinance is a matter among city council. So when I advocate, I will be advocating this issue with city council. So I just wanted people to understand that. I have a lot of the skills and knowledge. There are things that are actually supposed to connect our government with other services. For example, if I could actually put this ordinance in my person-centered plan, and all of my support team would recognize my rights within the city's ordinance. So I just wanted to bring that up, and as well as I think that it could be good for our city. Last thing, a couple of weeks ago on my walk to the store to get a pop, and I did a video. I don't know if anybody saw it or if they did. I did a video where I hid my disability. So there are people with hidden disabilities. So I dressed up as I blended in as a regular Black African American, and I actually had said, people would not think that I had a disability on the way that I was in. So there are people in our community that have hidden disabilities, and I just thought that's something where else the ordinance and the services and those that are getting services in our city with Medicaid dollars should be looked at by council. Updating the ordinance or doing a study session with other organizations or services that do business within the city. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have phone number ending in 017.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Richard Graham from Move Westland Forward again. A few items today regarding FOIAs. Question for the administration about how they're being handled now. You know, before COVID and even during COVID, you could go pick them up at City Hall and pay for them. Then you could drop off payment and they would be mailed to you. But just recently, as of today, you have to mail in a payment and then it is mailed back to you. Curious of what the policy is now. You know, it seems kind of, I guess, silly for a citizen that they have to mail that in and pay the postage, but wanted to get an understanding how FOIAs are being handled, especially I think City Hall is pretty much open. Regarding the Board of Ethics and even the Beautification Committee, I thought Mayor Weil committed to having all boards and commissions filled by the end of last year, which is 2020, and more specifically the long vacated Board of Ethics. Is there an update on this? I know lots of residents have been applying, but I was on the website today and there's nobody listed for either one and there was nothing announced today. So I guess maybe that's late from being done last year. Another comment, I found it funny, found it humorous that at the last council meeting, Councilwoman Ratowski, Councilman Landau had nothing pretty much to say regarding the Humane Society contract and just was rubber stamping it to get it approved for Mayor Weil. And even Mayor Weil slapped Councilman Herzberg's hands for speaking up with nobody saying anything, frankly. Interesting that so much research was done and within 2 weeks and all this was done. Why wasn't it done a few weeks ago? Maybe because Mayor Weil and the administration brought the contract so late to council. But real curious that, you know, now some of the council members that were rubber stamping it 2 weeks ago did all this research and had all these questions when citizens raise questions. It shows that we should keep raising questions and expressing our concerns. Lastly, interesting article in the Observer with Mayor Weil and even Councilman Hart, both up for re-election this year, talking about a new rec center along with a new senior center at the old Marshall School. I think Councilman Herzberg has been talking about this in the past, at least for the last year or maybe more. We'll be really interested to see, you know, what type of fluff to get the seniors excited for a second center during an election year. That's really it for tonight. That's it for tonight. So thank you very much and have a good evening.
Okay. Next we have Ruby Richards. Ruby, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everyone on the panel. And I pray that 2021 be a blessed, healthy, and better year for all. And I look forward to working alongside you guys this year. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Edward Pruitt. Are you there?
I am here. Thank you for introducing me. I am Pastor Edward Pruitt. I have two comments that I want to make. When we recap 2020, what we find is that there's a lot of increase in excess spending that's gone on. We know that Vic Bearer was increased, a pay rate increase. There was a lot of contracts that were put in place. And we went through the year concerned about the, in essence, excess amount of money that was being spent, even to the point where, you know, a deputy clerk was put in place at a higher type of amount. When we look through the entire year and we think about an article that came out where Mayor Weil was in it, expressing concerns about the budget and not being able to spend appropriately, where it could possibly even mean that important services such as the police department, things could be reduced. We keep seeing contracts being approved and we're not really hearing a lot about fiscal responsibility. I think the citizens are very concerned especially if the mayor is speaking on it. The mayor is the one that's controlling a lot of the expenditures. So I would like to know what's going on with that. But my big question is, because we've been pushing on it since June of 2020, what is going on with the Ethics Commission? You know, we've already had the farce of the seating with the Diversity Commission. Through the chair to the mayor, what's going on with the Ethics Commission?
Mayor, do you wish to respond? There's a minute 46 elapsed.
I plan on addressing the ethics board in my closing comments.
Thank you. Back
Thank
to
you for my
Mr. Pruitt.
continued time. We don't believe that is going to fully happen, but we do appreciate the quick remarks here. I do commend the police department for their work this year with helping in the community with turkeys and handing out different items. We have to be focused on the community and helping the community. Really appreciate those who have gone out of their way to hand out food, like Councilwoman Green. So many things have happened. Westland is a great community. We just need to be responsible to each citizen.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who would like to address the council? All right, seeing no hands raised, we'll move over to comments from the mayor.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, council, thank you for coming in a little bit early tonight on the study session for the Humane Society. Just before the study session at the Humane Society, there was a swearing in ceremony for a new police officer. Patrolman Aaron Oliver was hired today officially by the city of Westland. And that came on the heels of the planned retirements of Deputy Chief Randy Thurbridge, Lieutenant John Torolsky, Sergeant Patrick Boucher, and Sergeant Mark Mills. They've officially retired from the city, and Police Chief Jed Ruzick recognized those gentlemen with their families socially distanced in the study in the council room earlier tonight. With those retirements, it did clear the way for some new promotions, and we saw the promotion to Deputy Chief of Kyle Dawley. Two new lieutenants were going to be Jerry Farrar and James Starks, and promoted to sergeant were Matt Allen, James Compton, and Neil Egan. So a lot of movement going on in the police department. We lost a little bit of experience and leadership with those four gentlemen that were leaving after very distinguished careers. But with the new promotions, it looks like we have some fresh leadership moving up through the ranks, and certainly the new hire is going to be welcomed by all. Council City Hall resumed normal business hours effective today for all departments, along with the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center and the William P. Faust Library opened up with some limited capacity there. The Friendship Center is going to remain closed for the time being, and the Mike Madonna Ice Arena it's operating just under some extreme restrictions mandated by the state of Michigan. So things are moving forward. I was happy with the flow of traffic here at City Hall today. The employees were back manning the office, and it was all in all a pretty smooth day. Speaking of smooth, another thing that went really smooth was the changeover from Midwest Sanitation to Priority Waste. That actually happened on Saturday. That was the first pickup, and anybody that has received service from Priority at this point has had a chance to see the new fleet. We knew that they would be bringing a new fleet of trucks into Westland within the first 6 months of their contract, but they actually had their new yellow fleet out in full force, and it's been going very well. They are picking up Christmas trees for the next couple weeks at the curb, and I was over at the recycling center today, and we are set up to take trees at the recycling center, and you can take a look at the website for more information on how that works and how you have to prepare them. We're continuing to offer free COVID-19 testing in partnership with Wayne County CEO Warren Evans and the Wayne County Health Department at the Friendship Center. Chief Stratner has reported to me that his firefighters, which were part of the federal 1A, have been offered vaccinations, and several of them have taken them up on that. They're moving to 1B, which will be open to the police officers and well. And Chief Jedrusik is actually working with Chief Stratner on that, and there's availability for that for them. As the vaccination moves through the different phases and becomes available to other segments of the population, we'll definitely make sure that Westland residents have access to that for everybody that would like it. There was a couple comments about the ethics board tonight, and council, per my commitment to all of you, you received an email from me at the end of last week naming the ethics board, and there'll actually be a press release that goes out tomorrow morning with a little bit more information on all of the appointees, but their names are Michael Williams, Lori Wilson, Daniel Stachow, Don Nicholson, and Deborah Thomas. They've all have lived in the community a long time. I think that we have from gender, ethnicity, and geographic location of where they live in the city, I think we have a well-rounded board. As the press release gives you a little bit more information on them, you'll see that they're all very qualified, and I think that they'll do a great job for the city of Westland. Several of them currently serve on other boards and commissions, and as of January 6th, these appointments will take effect, and they'll be considered resigned from their other boards and commissions. That will open up some other openings, and that we do have some other committees that still have openings as well. So we'll continue to, over the next several council meetings, continue to make appointments and bring forward names to the council for those that require council approval. There was some movement on the DEI commission. We did have resignations from two members, Ms. Elnora Ford and Ms. Fabiola Sanchez Santos, both resigned citing personal reasons. We did have two alternates on the board, Stephen Thomas and Ebonite Guyton, and I have reappointed them from alternates to full-time positions. Stephen Thomas will take over the term of Miss Elnora Ford, and Ebonite Guyton will take over the term for Miss Sanchez Santos. I am also appointing to one of the vacant alternate spots, Westland resident Cherie Khan. There is still one opening on the alternate that will continue to work on filling. Council, at this point, you may have noticed that the city has done a soft launch of the new website, and we would encourage you to go on there and kick the tires and let us know what you like, what you don't like. You'll see tomorrow there's going to be on social media kind of steering people towards the website. At this point, we're kind of calling it a soft launch because it's a big website, and it's our older website, or our last website was it had been around for a while, so it wasn't necessarily a nice, clean transfer, but I think that we've worked out most of the formatting issues before we went live with it. But take a look at it, and we've got some great editors in our town, so if you see a couple of typos or something like that, certainly pass those on, because we want to make sure that when we officially launch it, that we've got this thing watertight. So, but take a look at it, and it is a new modern website, and we've had a lot of good feedback on it already. One of the things that we didn't realize this until after we launched it, that if you had an account set up on the old website, that you'll have to redo that on the new website, that through the formatting that information did not carry over. So when you bring up the website, you'll see a disclaimer pop up right at the top that helps you do that really quick. Council WLND worked over the holidays to put together a tribute video. During my State of the City, we did a video kind of recognizing all of the compassionate action in town during the past year. So WLND has updated that to kind of get us through the end of the year, and it's a tribute to those Westland residents that we lost to COVID-19 in the year 2020. So Craig has got that out on social media and on WLND, and they just really did a nice job with this. So it's labeled True Colors, and it's definitely worth taking a look at. And if you do social media, please try to share it. Speaking of WLND, they are working hard. We're going to have to offer up our annual MLK ceremony in a virtual format. So what Craig is working on, doing this as a Zoom, it just doesn't, we really can't offer up a ceremony that we think would be truly smooth and seamless. So what Craig is actually doing is the city of Westland has been celebrating MLK Day for a long time. So what they're actually doing is going back through all of the past ceremonies, and we've had a lot of great speakers and a lot of great choirs, and so they're going to be going back and kind of reutilizing some of those folks. One of the people that we're going to make sure that we do something a little special that day for is Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon. He was actually our keynote speaker 3 times, which is the most that anybody's ever done, and he usually tried to make a point to at least come out and walk in the march with us in the beginning. So we're also going to be utilizing the speech in the beginning of it to kind of touch on the past year and where we're at as a country. So it's something that I would encourage you to look forward to. It's going to be released on WLND on MLK Day, which is Monday, January 18th. And I believe that Craig is going to have this show for the first time at 9 a.m. So I would ask you to please take a look at that. Then just the last couple of pieces of business, our council, you received the audit from the finance department just prior to the end of the year. We're just before we sent it into the state as a requirement. We're going to be working with the council leadership to set up a study session where Plant Moran can come in and present the audit to city council. We also will have the second quarter update prepared. So it'll be a chance to really take a good look and see where we're at financially, especially on some of the heels of some of the revenue losses with COVID. So we're probably going to shoot for the night of the next council meeting, but we'll have to lock that down over the next couple of days. And then my last thing is I would just ask you to please save the date, Saturday, January 30th. We're looking at setting up the next strategic planning session with the administration and the city council. The topic of this next session will be finance. So Saturday, June 30th, we'll probably kick off sometime around 9 or 9:30 in the morning. I would anticipate that this session is going to go through lunch and into the afternoon. Will be a lot more topics to cover than at our first session. So with that, that's all I have tonight. Thank you, and back to you, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the city attorney's office today?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you, Jim. We'll begin council comments tonight with Councilman Hertzberg.
Thank you, Council President. I'll start by congratulating Mr. Curry on your reappointment. I have a comment and a couple of questions for the mayor real quick based on your comments. I'm not sure if I misheard you. The first one, just a comment regarding the new city website. When this was coming up, me and a couple of the council members asked for a page for issues reporting for people similar to the Click and Fix app. Not a lot of people still today don't do apps. They don't want the Click and Fix app. And I thought maybe getting it on the website would be a good way for some people in town to send in their issues, whatever might be going on in the neighborhood. If I recall correctly, the same company that does Click and Fix is the same company that does our website. So I didn't see anything on there yet about that, but you asked for some feedback. And then just 2 questions real quick. I don't know if I misheard you. Is the ice arena open or is it closed to the public for open skate? And then did you appoint anybody to the beautification committee? I'm not sure if I misheard you. If you can answer me briefly, I'd appreciate it.
Mayor?
Your first comment on the website sounded more like a statement than a question.
Yeah.
Craig Brown is on here tonight, so we'll take a look at that. Typically, people go on the website. If they want to report something, they can email. But we can take a look and see what the capabilities are there. The next one, as far as the ice arena, I'll give you an email tomorrow. Actually, I'll have Joe Burton send you guys an email to talk about exactly what they can do. It's pretty much closed to the public, but I know that the state is allowing some certain things like one-on-one instructions and some other things. It's very restrictive, and I'll have Joe update you guys on that tomorrow. And my comments tonight on appointments refer to the ethics board and the DEI board.
Okay, so I misheard you then. I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
I'd be more than happy to answer the website question.
If you're available and ready, please do.
On the website, you can actually make requests for service. If you go to How Do I, there's a number of options on how to report different concerns within the city. Most of them do work through the Click and Fix app on the website version of it. So you definitely can connect with any of our departments to ask questions or to reporting responses.
Okay, I appreciate that. I just wanted to bring that up. Usually when somebody puts something in the Click and Fix, it goes directly to the necessary party that would be handling it, which is easier than sending an email to the mayor or to the council members, but just wanted to bring that up. And then the reason I asked about the beautification committee is I've been getting a lot of complaints about litter over the past few weeks. You know, litter in town, it gets horrible in the wintertime in Westland. The landscapers aren't out there every week. Stuff just builds up. And I know I've brought this up in previous years, but we got to do some sort of ordinance enforcement, or we have to have a group go out, whether it's court workers or whoever it might be, to clean it up. You know, some of our prime spots in town, there's cups and bags and all kinds of trash on the side of the road, and you really don't see that. You drive across Plymouth Road in Livonia, you drive into Garden City, you know, across Merriman, you just don't see this. It reflects poorly on the whole city. It reflects poorly on the businesses that unfortunately don't care to clean it up. And, you know, it reflects poorly on the entire Shop and Dine Westland campaign. So I'd really like to see us do some sort of initiative to get this cleaned up, because we deserve better. The only other thing I wanted to bring up tonight about the marijuana study session that is going to be approaching. I'm not sure if Attorney Fasson is here still or not. One thing, through the dozen or so study sessions that we had, we never talked about products on the shelves, specifically marijuana edibles. Westland, I'm not sure if anybody saw it, we were featured in a documentary about problems with minors getting a hold of edibles, and they cited a story. I'm not sure if it was Marshall School a couple of years ago, but we were brought up. It's on Netflix. I'll get the name if you guys want to watch it, but it doesn't look good. But we didn't talk about edibles. The thing is, they're making products that are gummy bears. They're making products that are, a kid would walk and see it on the counter and not think twice about it. So what I'd like to know, kind of, if you don't want to answer now, or if we can get this before the study session, is there anything we can do to regulate what types of items like that are on the shelves in Westland? And that'll be it for me. If someone wants to comment, you can move on to the next conversation. Thank you.
Mr. Fasson?
I'd be glad to get back to council with the reality of what the city can limit. We've had this discussion about preemption before, the state preemption, but I can give you more details on edibles. I'll get the council some more information on that so they can answer it to the public.
All set, Councilman Hertzberg? Okay. Next up is Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. I would like to start by welcoming our residents to 2021. Let's stay smart and safe as we enter into this new year. I would like to respond to one of our residents, Pastor Edward Pruitt, who brought up very relevant points regarding his concern about our the strength of our fiscal or finances here in the city of Westland. And like Pastor Pruitt, I know since I've gotten on council, anyone who knows me knows that I have been watching our bottom line, calling out a lot of these contract decisions and votes from council that lock the city into contracts from anywhere to 4 to 6 to 10 years. We just did that with the trash contract. Most often, city council refused to even insert a clause to protect Westland taxpayers in the event that the finances here in the city change, which basically will keep our city on the hook. That did not just occur with trash. That is the current city assessing contracts. It's so many contracts that have occurred just in the last 3 years of my tenure. It is outrageous what is going on in the city of Westland. I have never seen anything like it. And in a corporate setting, many of these decisions would have been flagged for investigation for potential theft or some type of impropriety. And that is my opinion based on more than 20 years of professional corporate experience. It is mind-boggling that we have a mayor and a council president who would do an article talking about potential concerns about our city's stability while putting forth contracts that give 33% increases upfront to campaign donors, locking them in with an annual year-over-year increase of more than any city of an amount more that exceeds more than any city employee, including our public safety, and to have city council vote on this contract while taking campaign funds from the owner of this company. Many of the decisions that take place in the city of Westland, it's very unfortunate because we have residents who know nothing about what's going on in our city, but they know each of our names. And you continue to hear people demand transparency and demand honesty from politicians, but then you vote for the exact same politicians who sell you down the river every opportunity they get. And many of them profit from those votes and decisions that they make. And so, in my opinion, if you sit back and watch a politician lie to you and vote on contracts that they profit from and then raise your taxes, lie to you, don't show up until 6 months before it's time to vote, and they got everything from fruit trays to cookies to nice, pretty literature, and you turn around and vote for us again after we've shown you what you can expect from us, you deserve it. Do not vote for politicians that do not do what's best in your interest. And if you do, you already know what you can expect. If you want honest people in office, then you need to get out and vote, and you need to vote for change. There is a big local election coming up this year. In the month of April, I believe it is the 3rd week of April. That is the filing deadline. It's either the 3rd or the 4th week of April. The mayor's seat will go up or is up for election, and 4 members of the city council. That includes myself, Councilman Hertzberg, Godbout, and Councilman Hart. We are all up for re-election. Do not believe that you cannot beat an incumbent. When I won as the first Black woman running with no political background and almost no backing locally.
Councilwoman Green, it is starting to get a little over the line of campaign.
Do not try to steal my freedom of
I'm not trying to steal your freedom. We just do have a policy that says no campaigning, and it is getting over the line a little bit.
You will not steal my freedom of speech.
I'm not stealing it. I'm just looking at the policies,
to
that's
my
all.
constituents, and you will watch me do so and give me the same respect that you give every other council.
I understand. I'm just trying to recognize the
Well,
policies.
there's
That's
no need
all.
for you to do that. I appreciate your concern, but I don't need you to do that. Thank you.
So you don't want to abide by the policy? I'm just curious
I
because you
know
don't
what
want
the
to.
policy said, and I can educate my constituents on a local election and what to expect.
Of course, you can do that. It's just if you're asking them not to vote for someone or to vote for
There's
someone,
nowhere in my
that's
policy
campaigning.
did I say that. What I said was do not vote for politicians who don't support you. If you take personal offense, maybe you need to dig.
I'm not trying to be personal. I'm just trying to do my job. That's all. That's all.
There are thousands of politicians nationwide. I was not specifically talking about the city of Westland. But again, in my experience, normally a hit dog will holler. I did not mention you by name.
I'm fine. I'm just saying that's all I'm doing is trying to enforce policy. But
I understand.
do you?
I don't need assistance, but I appreciate your concern. As I was stating, there is an election this year. Do not believe that incumbents cannot be unset. When I won the year that I ran without little to no local support and a full campaign ran against me to encourage many Westland residents to not vote for me by the mayor and others in his camp. I sent home a 16-year incumbent as a no-name in a city with demographics that are opposite of mine. And the residents in this city took a chance on me because they thought that I would do exactly what I said I would do. And so I encourage you all to get involved, stand up and speak up. And there is a place for everyone at the table and on every side of the city, whether it be north, south, east, or west, whether you be high income, middle income, or low income, there is a voice and representation waiting on you. And there is nobody coming to save you. You are the savior that you're waiting for, and I'm waiting for you to come in here and run for office. So if you want to speak to me directly about maybe getting additional training on how to run a successful campaign, you can call me at 734-828-7010. I will help those who will help our residents to the best of my ability. I also wanted to encourage residents that we still have lots of commission seats open. We've said this for many, many months. Just as recently as this week, I've had multiple residents still calling me, still emailing council and the mayor about application after application that they have submitted for whether it be the diversity commission, the beautification commission, all types of commissions. And these people are not hearing anything back from the mayor's office. City council does not select the appointees on these commissions. That is a decision that the mayor makes. And unfortunately, as we just heard tonight, many of these commissioners, as stated with several of the commissioners that are serving on the Ethics Commission, they've had the opportunity to serve in multiple capacities in our city, and they are yet again serving on another commission. And you will find that these same people who are being recycled commission after commission while other people beg for the opportunity to step up and serve their city, these same recycled commissioners have worked on the campaigns of many of the elected officials who sit here tonight, including the mayor. And that is not fair. You do not have to agree with me for you to have a place in our city. And you don't have to stand up and do my bidding. You should not have to do that to have the opportunity to serve, regardless of your political party or affiliation. I've had people, it's insane what's going on in our city. And I frankly would like to see it change. Some of the commissioners that were named for this ethics commission have absolutely no experience some of their ethics have already been called into question by other Westland residents regarding issues that they have involved themselves in. The mayor was asked to seat that commission with attorneys. And the reason why he was asked to consider that was because this ethics commission is going to issue decisions and judgments on behalf of the city of Westland as the ethics commission. So a decision or statement that this commission could potentially issue on behalf of our city could potentially have us in a lawsuit if these people who are not lawyers issue a improper judgment with on behalf of the city of Westland. And the department that stands to benefit most is our city attorney's department, because they're going to have the opportunity to oversee these decisions of people who we could have killed two birds with one stone and just sat attorneys to go over ethics complaints, which some of which will be regarding illegal or corrupt activity or allegations. We have people who are working on Mayor Wild's campaign now sitting and all this other stuff that's going on now sitting as our ethics commissions, and they're being pulled from the planning commission over to the ethics commission and being pulled from this other commission over to the diversity commission, but you shun other people. The mayor discriminated against me with the diversity commission that I brought to the city of Westland. That is why we have one today. And he stated that he would not allow me, as the woman who put forth the resolution to declare racism a public health crisis, to serve on the commission that my resolution required, and told me that it was due to, something about city council people couldn't sit on that commission, while he himself, Godbout, Hart, Rakowski, Landau, sit on several city of Westland commissions. This is the thinking of some of these people. And if I wanted to bring a lawsuit against the city of Westland, they have given me yet again every opportunity to do so. But now we have people who are not even lawyers over our ethics commission, and you can't even see that what you just did with the diversity commission was discriminatory. Rakowski sits on the Nankin Township Commission, Transit Commission today. For the mayor to deny me the opportunity to serve on a commission while all these other city council people serve is just not a wise decision. And the only reason why I have not sued the city of Westland is because I realize that taxpayers pay the first $250,000. But again, many of the things, I just feel bad for many of our residents. I'm going into my 4th year on city council. You all only know the tip of the iceberg of what really goes on in our city. And I'm going to continue to bring as much transparency to the table and open your eyes about the facts of what is happening with all matters that do not require 100% confidentiality. And I care not what my colleagues may disapprove of, because again, many of these decisions that are being made, they benefit from while doing newspaper articles and speaking so passionately about responsibility that we just skip over at our leisure and our pleasure. And so residents, I'm doing a call of action to you. You have roughly 4 months from today to decide whether or not you are pleased with the type of decisions being made on your behalf. And if not, change is brewing, and that change could potentially be you. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Godbout.
There were so many misstatements of fact and accusations and allegations in that last rant by the councilwoman that it's just uncalled for. It was politicking, it was campaigning. And, unfortunately, the rules apply to everybody but Councilwoman Green. So I'll just leave it at that. I'd like to thank Mr. Curry for serving on the Board of Review. Rod's been active in the community for decades, and it's always a pleasure to see him and to work with him, and he does a great job for us. So again, thank you, Mr. Curry, for serving on the Board of Review. In regards to the financial condition of the city, I know that that's come up now again this evening. We just received the audit, and I did read through it for the first time over the weekend. And, financially, the city is still in pretty financially sound shape if you look at the audit. There's still areas of concern. We don't know about some of the future funding with the state shared revenues, but overall, the one thing that stuck out in the audit was the fine job that our finance department did. And that was primarily between Dan Block and Steve Smith. And those guys deserve a lot of credit for the quality of job that's being done in our finance department. There were no findings in the audit, reportable findings. And it's a much a testament to their work and effort that that sort of results taken place. And I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year. We're still in the middle of this pandemic. Vaccines are becoming available, but it's going to be a long time before everybody gets vaccinated or has the ability to be vaccinated. So please take care. As we've seen, we've lost some tremendous people, leaders in the communities that they serve, most notably Benny Napoleon and Mayor Dan Pletko. And there are others, that we've lost over the past year. So please stay safe, mask up. It's inconvenient, sure, but the potential for saving even one life is worth it. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Good evening. I'd first like to congratulate our police department retirees, those who have been promoted, and our new hire. They do an amazing and thankless job, and they deserve every debt of gratitude that we can give them. Like Councilman Godbout, I would also like to make mention of Mayor Dan Pletko and send my condolences to his family in the city of Dearborn Heights, who will now move on without one more person. COVID is real, and it seems to be impacting us with more and more notable people, but everyone who has suffered a loss has lost somebody notable to them. So we should continue to keep all of the families that have lost a loved one in our prayers or thoughts. Gleaners will be back at the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center on the 12th. Their food distribution starts at 9 a.m. on that day. That's a Tuesday. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Curry on his reappointment. I'm also looking forward to the audit from the Humane Society being part of our voucher packets. I think that's going to be able to give us a much better accounting of the amount of animals that Westland is committed to. And we can certainly move forward from that point and make sure that we have an equitable contract to these other communities. In the meantime, it's important that we do have some sort of animal control, because it's not always Fluffy and Fido that are the issue. There's the other wildlife and dangerous animals that can impact our day-to-day lives. So it's, no one wants to see an animal be euthanized, certainly not Fido or Fluffy, but we're also talking about rabid raccoons and deer that have been hit by cars. So I'm interested in seeing how those types of animals are displayed in that report. So that'll be interesting. So thank you for getting that, for Peter for making that motion, or Tasha for making the motion. I think that's going to be very helpful to our success with utilizing the Michigan Humane Society. I am part of the Nankin Transit Authority. I was nominated and elected by my peers unanimously, and it's a 2-year term. It's one of, if not the only, council member appointed seat. I share my appointment with Michael Harris, who proudly serves your city. And each city that is part of Nankin Transit Authority has 2 representatives, one from their local government and one from their public. With that, I wish you all a happy new year and look forward to seeing what our year has for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman McDermott.
Well, good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year to all the residents here in the city of Westland. Thank you for joining us this evening. I, too, would like to start out by offering my condolences to the family of Dearborn Heights Mayor Dan Paletko. This was shocking news to all of us, even though we know that COVID has claimed far too many lives. When it's someone that you know from service in local government, it's terribly sad. So certainly my thoughts go out to his family and also the residents of the city of Dearborn Heights. I'd like to thank all of our officers for their service who retired tonight, including our Deputy Chief, Randy Theveridge. Thank you for your long and dedicated service here to the city of Westland, and best wishes in your retirement. And also congratulations to all those officers who were promoted up in rank this evening as well. Thank you for your continued service here to the city. And sorry that we couldn't be there as a council to witness, as we normally would, the swearing in ceremony and also the retirement for those who retired here from the city. I'd like to thank the mayor and the administration for appointing the Ethics Commission. I know that there were a number of residents who applied that were not chosen to be a part of that commission. And if we can, be able to get an answer maybe to some of those residents as to, potentially why they weren't chosen, or just a response back saying thank you for your application process and just an acknowledgement that they want to serve the city as well. I know there are a number of residents that applied multiple times to be a part of that over the years. So if we could, get some kind of acknowledgement or email out to them, I think that'd be greatly appreciated. I know one resident in particular, Mr. Graham, has applied on numerous occasions to be a part of the ethics board, and has made mention that he hasn't heard anything back in regard to his specific application for applying to the Board of Ethics. But nonetheless, I do want to thank the administration. I know a number of us here on council, even predating my first year on council, have pushed for the ethics board. I know Councilwoman Green and Councilman Herzberg specifically brought that up on numerous occasions, and a number of residents in the community have brought that up as well. So, very proud to work with them, work with residents in the community, and also work with the administration on getting that ethics board seated. And thank you to everybody who put their name in the hat and those that were selected for joining and resigning from any current boards and commissions that you're a part of to undertake, I think, what's a very important and very needed board here with the Board of Ethics. So thank you for that. In regards to the agenda item on Plastipac and the silo they're looking to approve, I think we all certainly appreciate the economic development and the jobs that Plastipac has invested in Westland already. My reasoning for voting no on that is because every year 4.8 to 12.7 million tons of plastics, plastic pellets, plastic bottles, all types of plastic materials end up in our oceans here on Earth. And that's a problem. And that is a huge problem for the environmental impact and for sustainability. So single-use plastics are one of the biggest threats to our environment. They are carbon-based materials. So obviously the production of a single-use plastic, the oil and gas that goes into producing a single-use plastic is harmful to the environment. But also, once the plastic is disposed of, it takes upwards of 700 years for certain plastics to break down and ultimately go back into the soil. And unfortunately, in the meantime, many of those plastics, as I mentioned, 4.8 million to 12.7 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans every single year, and that is a problem. And we know that Plastipac, unfortunately, one of the things their individual plastic pellets go into the manufacturing of is plastic water bottles. I think we need to be smarter in promoting more sustainable efforts to, get our drinking water and to consume a whole host of beverages beyond just single-use plastics. And I know that there are countries like Canada that are taking bigger and bolder steps and initiatives to ban single-use plastics as well. In regards to the Humane Society, I certainly appreciate all the work that the Humane Society does for our community. Each and every day, each and every year here in our city, they provide an important and vital service. For me, my reasoning for voting no on that, I wanted to see more specific and concrete language regarding the euthanization policy specific to the Westland Humane Society. As well, I know that there are neighboring humane societies that have a far lower percentage in terms of the animals euthanized. I know Huron Valley, the Macomb Center, Livingston out in Howell as well. So next year, I hope we can get some more specific language regarding euthanization policy into the contract. But again, no small feat. We appreciate the effort that they do for our community and for the animals each and every day, and for the families who are able to take home wonderful adoptive pets. I'd also like to thank Craig Brown and his IT team for the development of the new website. I know that was a really big undertaking, something that they've been spending months and months on. They had a study session earlier in the year to get our feedback, to get resident feedback. So I appreciate that and all the many months that went in developing a really nice website, a state-of-the-art website. Glad that we've got a brand new modernized website, and I hope that the residents enjoy the brand new cityofwestland.com. And certainly, if you have any thoughts as a resident, see any errors or mistakes, please feel free to send it in to us as a council, and we can always forward that over to Craig and his team directly. But again, appreciate all the work that Craig and the IT team put into that website. And then with that, I want to thank Mr. Curry for his service and reappointment this evening. So appreciate the ongoing service there from Mr. Curry for being a part of our boards and commissions. And then with that, I will wish everybody a safe, prosperous, and happy 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Council President Pro Tem Londo.
Thanks, President Hart, and welcome back. You're a little rusty tonight. I might have to take over. I'm just messing with it. It's good to have you back. People don't realize the pressure and the amount of detail that goes into carrying that seat. So thank you for all you do. Happy New Year to everybody. I want to also start off by congratulating, or thanking, I should say, Deputy Chief Randy Theveridge and Lieutenant John Turalski, who both served the community of Westland with great dedication. We're going to miss their experience. Also want to welcome congratulate Deputy Chief Kyle Dawley and newly promoted lieutenants Jerry Farrar and James Starks, and then our new sergeants Matt Allen, James Compton, and Neil Egan, and then our new officer, welcome to the city of Westland, Aaron Oliver. As was mentioned, the promotional ceremony was this afternoon or this evening at 5:30. Chief asked us to, pay our respects in other ways. They wanted to keep it small and keep it just the mayor and the city clerk and their families, which is totally understandable since it's with everything going on with COVID. So thank you, Chief, for letting us know. I made sure to reach out to a few of them already and thank them for their service. Congratulations to Mr. Roderick Curry on his reappointment to the Westland Board of Review. We've talked a lot at length about this Board of Review. That's one of those thankless jobs. That's one where people come in, they're there for 2-3 days at a time, just waiting for people to come in and basically, come in and speak to them. And lost my spot here. Anyways, it's a thankless job. So thank you, Mr. Curry. Mayor mentioned the WLND video that WLND put together on True Colors. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go on the City of Westland's Facebook page. I believe it's on Twitter and on our YouTube page. It's a fantastic video. Really highlights all the agencies, the workers, businesses, and residents and volunteers that displayed their compassion, dedication, and really their true colors, like the song says, to make a terrible 2020 a lot easier to get through. Just got a couple more quick things. I'd also like to share my condolences with the City of Dearborn Heights and Mayor Pletko and his family. That was another tremendous loss. They lost a great leader in Dearborn Heights, and he's going to be missed. And I'll just leave it at that. Happy New Year, everyone. Have a good day.
All right, well, thank you. Start tonight by wishing everyone a happy new year. Welcome to 2021. Also, I'd like to thank all of my colleagues, friends, everybody else who wished me well 2 weeks ago when I did have a surgery that left me unable to attend the council meeting. And I'd like to thank, again, Council President Pro Tem for picking up the ball and running with it. Good job. I know it's kind of last minute. I had to notify everybody, but it was a surgery that I had to get done. It was urgent, and I feel much better. So I'm on the mend. I'm up and walking around, so it's good. So we're doing all right there. But thanks again, everyone, for all of your positive thoughts. It was very helpful, and I'm doing well now. Congratulations, Mr. Curry. You know, talent is something we don't want to get rid of, and as long as you're willing to be engaged with us, I think it's vitally important that we keep you around, because we definitely see that talent is needed in all areas. So we really enjoy having you here, and we're really thankful for all the services that you offer the city and your service to your community. Not much else other than tonight. I do want to remember Mayor Daniel Paletko was shocked when that news came across. I think Councilman Murkowski kind of mentioned it. It's really starting to become very real, as a lot more, you know, prominent names are becoming not only affected by this, but we're losing them. Mr. Paletko is actually, from what I can figure, it was pretty quick. I think he had some really positive emails and Facebook messages or something not a few days prior. So, and it was really quick, unlike the sheriff, Napoleon. He had a really long, tough fight with it. So everybody reacts to this thing differently. And I think it's kind of what we have to remember. What doesn't affect me might severely affect you, and vice versa. So just keep their family in your thoughts and prayers, and kind of keep cognizant about what you're doing, who you're coming in contact with. Because yeah, you might not be feel fine. You might feel fine, but you might be carrying it and just not know, and carry it on to someone who has immune compromised, or just quite frankly, genetically isn't built to handle it. And we're seeing that. So thank you to all the council members who adhered to the policies and procedures tonight. Those are important. We have them for a reason. It's disappointing when people simply go right against the policies and procedures that we're sworn to abide by. I think it really casts a really negative picture. So hopefully we can make things a little bit more professional in 2 weeks from now, and keep 2021 a year of positivity and trying to be professional. With that, we'll have a good evening. Is there a motion for an adjournment?
Support. Green.
I need the motion.
I'll make it.
Motion.
Okay, very good. Good night.